Oh, and Bennett, Hal Bennett from Solidarity Singers. Ken and Hanyu and Andrew. Oh, Nancy. Nancy is calling in from Quebec. She is working on a film about Lac-Mégantic. Hi, Richard Grant and Ellen Lee and Ananya and Bill McClellan.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to start in a few minutes. Giving people a chance to get on.
Hey everyone, Jocelyn here from Food and Water Watch. I'm doing some Zoom support since I'm not in a car. So when we do get started, I'm just going to mute everybody. And then if we have a Q&A or you need to speak, you can unmute yourself, or I think there's a raise hand function that you have access to. I also encourage folks who are on computers at home to use the chat to ask questions and talk with each other. Folks can introduce themselves in the chat.
I see Paul Kaufman from Green Faith.
No difference.
Yeah. Jocelyn, thank you for, Jocelyn's with Food and Water Action, and she is not in the storm. Several of us are here at the park, and it was really, the weather was getting better, and then all of a sudden there's lightning and thunder, and it's really, really, really dangerous. But as I was saying, our speaker from Lac-Mégantic will be on in a little while. And I'm so thankful to Jahan, who's sharing his phone, because mine doesn't seem to want to work under these conditions. And I'm here with Chris Noel, who's a high school teacher from Fort Lee. Welcome to everybody. If you would, down on the bottom on the right is the chat, or somewhere in the bottom. I don't know exactly where, but there's a chat. And if you would introduce yourselves and say where you live or what group you're with, if you're with an organization. And oh wow, we have somebody from California, North Bergen. Wow.
City.
It's like, wow. We have some members of the Solidarity Singers. We have Aline Gilbert from Teaneck. Ananya.
Hello.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is great.
Manager.
Shane Mitchell from Senator Weinberg's office. Kim Gaddy. TCM Hoboken. Wow.
Oh, we have 60 people.
60 people. This is a technological.
Great.
We're actually running this rally from a car in the middle of a rain.
Jahan?
Wow.
There's so much Jahan.
Yeah.
You know,
Palas. Jahan Palas. Unmute me. Okay.
can you hear me?
Paula, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
I was checking Jahan. Jahan, I'm from Iran. Where are you from?
North Bergen.
From?
North Bergen.
North Bergen. You are the second Jahan I know in my life.
Oh, that's rare.
Hi,
Yeah.
Jane, Caliph, and Hugh, Carola.
I was going to be with you there in Jersey City, but the weather, I said no.
So I think we'll start in just a couple minutes.
Okay.
Everybody should be on mute.
I'm not on mute. I'm having trouble finding the names I'm supposed to read. It was an attachment, and there are so many emails. I'm having trouble finding it.
If you go down to the bottom of your computer, you'll see something that says chat.
Yes.
Type there, and you'll see where people are calling in from.
But I think he wants to read the names of.
Oh, to read the names. Is this, who is this?
Leonard.
Oh, Leonard, yeah. Do you have, oh, we will call you at the right time.
Yes, but I can't find the list of names that was sent to me. It's someplace, but it's buried in 1,000 emails.
Oh.
Will it be up on the screen that I can read from, or if not, I'll just keep looking for it, but I haven't found it yet.
Okay, let us know.
I'm going to minimize you now and look as far as I can.
Leonard, if you're in your email, type in the search function of your email, type Paula.
Okay.
And then that should bring up a couple of recent emails.
Yeah,
One of
there's
them
one.
will have a PDF document. You can click on the PDF document.
I think I've got it. Just a minute. PDF is all the way at the bottom.
Right.
There it is. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Okay, I found it. Thank you.
You're
Good,
welcome.
good. Okay. I'm gonna.
People are still just coming out.
Okay, everyone, we are going to begin. We're here, some of us are here in Jersey City, New Jersey. I'm Paula Rogovin from the Coalition to Ban Unsafe Oil Trains and the Don't Gas the Meadowlands Coalition. I want to welcome people who are here in cars now because of the very serious thunder and lightning. We're here in Jersey City, but we want to greet people throughout New Jersey, the US and Canada. And hello to our allies in Lac-Mégantic. I'd like to ask people to mute their phone. Yesterday, there was some great news, and we all need great news. After a 6-year fight, the Atlantic Coastal Pipeline was abandoned by Dominion Energy and Duke Energy, and the 600-mile gas pipeline, it would have gone under the Appalachian Trail from West Virginia through Virginia, North Carolina, and the pumping station would have been in the middle of a historic African-American community. We know that environmental activists consistently fought that project in court, on petitions and at demonstrations. And yes, this week, Reverend Barber and Al Gore issued a joint statement calling on the governor of Virginia to get the resolve and be serious and take on this project. And now we have a great people's victory. For those of you who don't know, our coalition, the Don't Gas the Meadowlands Coalition, and Empower New Jersey, many groups throughout New Jersey, we stopped the Meadowlands power plant in North Bergen after a long fight. And many of you on this Zoom call were part of that fight. 7 years ago, a train carrying Bakken crude oil derailed and exploded in Lac-Mégantic, Quebec, killing 47 women, men, and children, and destroying the downtown. It was a terrible tragedy. People were left without their children, parents, and friends. The pain and suffering continues. We'll hear in a few moments from Gilbert Carrette from the Lac-Mégantic Coalition for Rail Safety. Then 2 of our members will read the names of the victims. We'll hear in a while from other activists and from elected officials from around the region. We'll hear later from Fritz Elder, who works with the Railroad Workers United here in the United States and has been working with the coalition in Lac-Mégantic and activists in the US. The site where we are, where the thunder and lightning are carrying on, is not a random site for a rally. We're here in Jersey City, overlooking the Meadowlands. If you were here with us, you could see the proposed site of the New Jersey Transit Track Gas Power Plant, a Copper's Coke, a Superfund site. Jersey City, Kearney, Newark, and Hoboken, and other cities and towns would be severely impacted for 30 to 40 years by the pollution from that proposed power plant. Other speakers will tell more about it. Did you know that the people here actually, you're kind of lucky you're not right here in a way, because those of us who are here and those of us who live in this area are in the blast zone of the CSX trains. These and other trains carry volatile back-end crude oil, and with Trump's authorization will even carry more dangerous liquefied natural gas in the substandard DOT, Department of Transportation, 117 tank cars. These trains go through 11 towns in Bergen County and through Jersey City, Newark, and beyond. They also would go right next to the site of the proposed New Jersey Transit frac gas power plant. Bomb trains next to a frac gas power plant. Does that make sense to you? Raise your hand if you, or put your thumbs down if you think it makes sense to build a power plant right next to major cities and major cities and a frac gas power plant. Well, each year we rally at this time, and we dedicate the rallies to the victims of Lac-Mégantic. And also we fight to keep fossil fuels in the ground. We know that there's really not a safe way to transport back-end crude. We need to keep it in the ground. When we founded our organization, Coalition to Ban Unsafe Oil Trains, we thought the problem was with the tank cars, which had been made to carry corn syrup. Really, after many derailments and other train accidents, we realized there is no safe way to transport back-end crude or liquefied natural gas. So the only thing we can do is keep it in the ground. We have to continue our fight for rail and bridge safety while we fight for a rapid transition to 100% renewable energy. Together, we will win. Yeah. So we're going to be calling Gilbert Carret, who lives in Lac-Mégantic, and is very involved in the coalition, Lac-Mégantic Coalition for Rail Safety. It might just take a moment to get him unmuted. Jocelyn, are you able to unmute Gilbert?
Yes, I am looking for the name right now.
You look on
Could the speaker please raise your hand with the raise hand feature, if you're able to?
Gilbert, can you raise your hand? Is that possible?
He is unmuted, Paula.
Yeah.
Paula, where are you? Are you with Johan Andrade?
Yeah.
We're in a car.
With
We
Johan.
can see him, but we can't see you.
Jocelyn, if you tell the speaker to go to the upper right-hand corner of the box that his picture is in, he should find an unmute button in that one. He can unmute himself, I believe.
Wait, no, it's not us. But I don't see him.
we're looking for you. Maybe I should just call him. Okay, with that.
Yeah, Paula, I think what we could do, just in the interest of time while you're calling him, is we could have Tom and Leonard read the names of the victims from the disaster before Gilbert.
Okay, so can you call in?
Oh, I can read them from right from here.
Oh, okay. Is that who is that?
Leonard.
Leonard. Okay, Leonard, and is Tom on the call?
I'm right here.
Good. Okay, Tom. Okay, for everybody, Tom is going to read the names of the victims at Lac-Mégantic, and then Leonard will continue. Okay, so
Okay.
Tom, why don't you begin?
Here.
And I'm sorry to everyone in Lac-Mégantic that we're handling this in a kind of clumsy way. We're just really learning the technology.
Right.
Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom Van Lindern, and here are the names of the victim of the disaster at Lac-Mégantic. Monsieur Jacques Giraud, 65. Madame Denise Dubois, 57. Madame Marie-France Boulet, 62. Monsieur Richard Villeux, 63. Madame Louisette Poirier, 76. Monsieur Wilfred Rash, 77. Bianca Charest Begnoche, 9. Madame Eliane Parenteau, 93. Monsieur Frédéric Bouton, 19. Madame Cathy Clouseau, 24. Madame Elodie Turcotte, 18. Monsieur Yannick Bouchard, 36. Madame Karine Lafontaine, 35. Monsieur Maxime Dubois, 27. Madame Melissa Roy, 29. Monsieur Yves Boulet, 51. Madame Karine Champagne, 36. Monsieur Gaëtan Lafontaine, 33. Madame Johnny Tourmel, 29. Monsieur Roger Paquette, 61. Madame Joanie Lapointe, 20. Monsieur Guy Bolduc, 43. Madame André-Anne Sévigné, 26. Madame Diane Bizier, 46. Monsieur David Lacroix Baudouin, 27. And Monsieur Stéphane Bolduc, 37.
Okay, I'm Leonard Lehrman. I'll continue and complete the list. Calling you from Valley Stream, New York. Madame Marianne Poulin, 23. Madame Geneviève Breton, 28. Monsieur Mathieu Pelletier, 29. Madame Sylvie Charon, 50. Madame Henriette Latulipe, 61. Monsieur David Martin, 36. Monsieur Jean-Pierre Roy, 56. Monsieur Jean-Guy Veilleux, 32. Madame Lucie Vadnet, 49. Monsieur Michel Junior Gertin, 33. Madame Natacha Gaudreau, 41. Monsieur Kevin Roy, 27. Monsieur Eric Pépin La Jeunesse, 28. Madame Talita Koumi Benyash, 30. Monsieur Stéphane Lapierre, 45. Madame Marie-Noël Fauché, 36. Monsieur Martin Rodrigue, 48. Monsieur Réal Cousteau, 57. Madame Marie Semi Alliance, 22. Alisa, I assume that's Mademoiselle or Madame, Alisa Charest Benyash, oh, it would be Mademoiselle. Alisa Charest Benyash, 4. Monsieur Jimmy Sirois, 30.
Thank you so much, Tom and Leonard. And for those who may be just joining, we just read the names of the 47 victims of the Lac-Mégantic rail disaster, where a train carrying fracked oil, Bakken crude, which is a particularly volatile, explosive kind of oil, derailed and exploded in a downtown area, killing 47 people on this date 6 years ago. And I know Paula is working hard to get one of the survivors of the disaster to speak and say a few words from the community. And I believe she's calling him now, and we'll put him on speakerphone so that he can speak. We just need Johan to go on mute whenever Gilbert is ready. We're also, in the meantime, very excited to have several members of the Jersey City Council here, and excited to hear from them. We are also excited to have Shane Mitchell from Senator Weinberg's office here, as well as a number of other great speakers. So thank you all for your patience as we manage this very difficult weather and try to coordinate these the rally virtually. And Tom Von Lindern is correcting me. It was this date 7 years ago, 2013, July 6th, the date of the Lac-Mégantic oil train disaster. And as Paula said, where we were planning to have the rally in Jersey City is on the front lines of two crises. One, the same oil trains that derailed in Lac-Mégantic are coming through dozens of towns in New Jersey, including right here in Jersey City. Leonard Gordon Park is in the blast zone of the oil trains. FEMA did a scenario several years ago showing what would happen if an oil train derailed from the tracks here, and there was no first response. They had to, the conclusion from that FEMA study and scenario was that they would have to back off and let it burn out, and that's a lot of volatile crude oil that would be burning in a very densely populated part of the state here. And we're also overlooking, and just a couple miles from the site of the proposed New Jersey Transit Power Plant, which we're going to talk about in more detail in just a moment. So Paula, is Gilbert available? You're on mute. Johan's phone needs to go off.
Gilbert Perret is going to be speaking. He is on Zoom.
I am on Zoom now, but it's not open. You can't reach me?
It's okay. You may speak now.
Now it's coming now?
Yes, welcome. Welcome, Gilbert. Okay.
I know the hiding number.
No, you may just speak. Just speak because I can hear you and I'm amplifying it.
Yeah, but do you have me on the camera? No.
Gilbert, we just don't have any time longer. We need you to start your remarks now.
if you would speak, just speak now.
You want me to start my speech now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And welcome. Yeah.
First, I'd like to say some great thanking to you, to our neighbors, friends of New Jersey City and around for your annual memorial of Lac-Mégantic catastrophe that took 40 lives and swept over our downtown. 7 years later, the art of a small town is not yet rebuilt, and it's like a half square mile desert. And 7 years later, rail condition didn't improve much. And when we are waiting after the contour lane to get rid of that rail in the heart of our town. And I believe that your demonstration is rightful. You just can't go to the belt at night and knowing that there's death trains passing in your backyard, kind of a terrible nightmare, living by a crude oil and natural gas power plant. I hope you won't have to live with that in your backyard. By July 6, 2013, a convoy of 72 tankers of back-end fuel oil, crude oil, mixed with non-stable explosive chemicals needed for extraction, roll it down, and derail it, killing 47 people, destroying 35 buildings, and contaminated 4 other buildings. 72 tankers that contained the power of 4.5 Hiroshima's nuclear bombs and spilled over 7 million liters in burning oil. The worst rail accident in Canada's history and probably in North America. Think about a convoy of 150 to 200 tankers. Even if DOT 111 tankers have been improved to modify that DOT 117, supposed upgraded, they are not safer. 7 derailments in Canada and USA prove it since 2013. You could check that on the web about the DOT 111 and DOT 117 accident that happened since. And companies are allowed to do their own self-safety inspection and present the reports that are always accepted by the authorities. Don't you remember that way of self-inspection, that happened with Boeing with their MAX 8 737 that crashed a few times? Safety reports accepted by the FAA. A one-man crew convoy tankers of 100 to 200 units, each one weighing 135 tons, rolling timing bombs, sometimes without human driver, or driven controlled by a computer satellite guided. So, have a good night of sleeping, my friends, with trains rolling by your backyard. Your voices count. Authorities have to take back rail safety in people's hands and rules safe power energy station. Keep your voices loud, my friends. Your assessments are rightful and vital. Here we are talking about food and water, primary needed for people's life. Safe environment is deserved in this world and for the future for our children. Citizen lives matter. Thank you, and hoping that one of these days we'll visit you and you coming up at Lac-Mégantic. Thanks, Paula, and all the organizations. Citizens' lives matter. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your working with us, and we will continue to work with you on these very, very critically important issues. Our next speaker is Jeff Tittle, the director of New Jersey Sierra Club, and I think he's speaking from a car.
I am. I'm speaking from a car, but I have my two grandkids watching over my shoulder. And I'm here today on behalf of the almost now 4 million members and supporters of the Sierra Club, because we are basically in ground zero in the battle against fossil fuel infrastructure and the impacts of climate change. Here we are in Hudson County, the site of some of the worst air pollution and some of the highest rates of COVID in the country. And there's a direct connection between the burning of fossil fuels and not only asthma, but also COVID. And so we're here today to say that no longer will we sacrifice the public health or lives by the fossil fuel industry. We're here to say that what happened in Quebec shall never happen again, that we have to double, triple, and quadruple our efforts to make sure that we get to 100% renewable energy and zero carbon, that the state of New Jersey puts a moratorium in place on fossil fuel infrastructure so we can move forward and not backwards in our battle against climate change. We're here today because we have bomb trains running through our communities. We have these trains that if there's an accident, a derailment, or a spill, similar to what happened in Paulsboro with vinyl chloride, it would make what happened in Lac-Mégantic, Quebec, look almost insignificant, even though there's such a horrible loss of life there, because we are the most densely populated state in the nation. We have more people per square mile than any other state. And the only thing denser are the politicians in Trenton that don't get it, that we need to regulate and stop these bomb trains now. What's also critical is that the Trump administration has allowed for not only the bomb trains, but now what we call pipe bombs on trains, the transportation of LNG. Currently, the Sierra Club and Empower New Jersey and Food and Water Watch and many people on the call are fighting a massive export terminal for LNG down in Gibbstown, New Jersey, where they want to ship by truck and by rail LNG from Western Pennsylvania up in Bradford County in the shale industry areas. Putting those trains carrying LNG, which has 1,000-foot or more radius if one of them leaks and explodes, on rail lines that were built, when Grover Cleveland was president, if not Ulysses S. Grant. We have other areas of the state where these trains are coming through, going past, again, highly populated areas. In order to get to Gibbstown, they're going to have to go through Philadelphia and Camden and places like that. And so, again, if there's an accident, there's a blowtorch in someone's backyard, because if these things leak and take off, LNG has to be frozen at 260 degrees below Fahrenheit in order to be cold enough to transport. And if it leaks, it not only freezes everything and goes to the ground, but one spark or even just the condensing of the cold gas can cause a spark, cause combustion, wiping out communities, destroying families, going past schools, a tragedy of unknown proportions. And that's why we have to fight for rail safety. We're also here today because New Jersey Transit, which is supposed to be a government agency whose purpose is to get people to work safely, instead is proposing a massive power plant in the Meadowlands. This 140 megawatt power plant, which was only supposed to be used in case of the grid going down to power microgrid, they want to run it 24/7, 365 days a year. They can't run our trains on time. How are they going to run a fracking gas plant? And on top of it, it's going to promote more pipelines coming into the region. That plant alone would generate more than 650,000 metric tons of greenhouse gases a year, making it one of the largest sources of hot air in New Jersey after the State House, because the state of New Jersey should be the one stopping this. There was an alternative where you can power these trains by solar and hydro and battery storage, and we can move New Jersey Transit into the 21st century instead of going backwards into the 1950s. What I find so disingenuous is that New Jersey Transit says it's going to help clean our air, except for that if they just bought the power out of our grid, since New Jersey has a lot of power that's renewable and comes from other carbon-free sources, that it would actually produce half the carbon than this plant would produce, and half the nitrous oxide and half the sulfur dioxide and mercury and everything else. So if New Jersey Transit really cared about clean air, instead of hiding behind this dirty power plant, they would move to renewable energy. But just battery storage off the grid alone would be a hell of a lot cleaner than this plant. And that's why we're here, because the governor says he cares about environmental justice. He cares about climate change. He cares about reducing greenhouse gases. Well, if he allows this power plant to go forward, then this is nothing more than hot air coming out of the governor, because this plant is the wrong plant at the wrong time in the wrong place and should never even be considered, let alone built with public money by a public agency. And that's why we're here today, because, you know, up in Quebec, fossil fuels killed you through an explosion and a fire. Here in Hudson County, fossil fuels will kill you through air pollution, creating asthma attacks and making COVID a lot worse. And that's why we're here to call on the governor to protect public health, protect public safety, and stop this power plant and stop these bomb trains and pass Loretta Weinberg's legislation finally after all these years. I just want to end with a couple of positive notes. Paul had mentioned the Atlantic Coast pipeline. Sierra Club was involved with that for over 6 years. We even lost at the Supreme Court, but yet we still stopped the pipeline. So it shows if you keep fighting and you're determined, you can win. Also today, if you haven't heard, the Sierra Club won against the Dakota Access, where they actually have to reroute the pipeline and they have to empty sections of it, which gives us more time to try to fight it and stop the Dakota Access. Again, even if Trump says it's going to get built, it doesn't mean so. And last week, the federal courts ruled in a case we were involved with out in Pennsylvania that says that people have a right for a stay while their cases are being heard at FERC, which was a big setback for FERC. And the reason I'm mentioning it is because we're also here asking Governor Murphy to put a stay on the Southern Reliability Pipeline. For people who haven't followed it, it's a 22-mile pipeline cutting through the Pinelands to bring natural gas down the coast for more development. They call it for reliability, which means they just keep lying and relying and lying about this pipeline. But 2 weeks ago, one of the people who was fighting the pipeline, Barbara Fox Cooper, they were pumping water to drill under a stream by her house, and they had a blowout, and it caused her foundation to crack, and it caused her to have to her house was condemned. The point is, these pipelines, this fossil fuel infrastructure are too dangerous. We have to get 100% renewable and 100% clean energy. That's our future, and that's what we're here to fight for today. Thank you.
I'm calling on Sam DeFalco from Food and Water Action. Sam?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. It's a little loud in my car with the rain coming down, but just wanted to make sure. Yeah, so we're here today to remember the 47 lives that were tragically lost 7 years ago in Lac-Mégantic, Quebec. This horrific event in Lac-Mégantic, though, wasn't just a freak accident, but one of dozens of oil train derailments that have occurred over the past decade as oil by rail expands across North America. These events and accidents were allowed to occur because politicians and the fossil fuel companies that bought them off continue to put their profits over people and our planet. And this is only getting worse. Just a few days ago, the Trump administration gave final approval for companies to ship not only crude oil by rail, but now liquefied natural gas. This is an even graver threat to our communities. A derailment could wipe out an entire city. An explosion of just 22 trains carrying liquefied natural gas would have the power of the atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. This isn't speculation. In Cleveland, Ohio in 1944, liquefied natural gas escaped from a tank, flowed into the city sewer system, and exploded, destroying an entire square mile of the city. 131 people were killed. This is the kind of danger and devastation Governor Murphy is co-signing when he allows fossil fuel projects to continue to be approved in our state. Oil or gas isn't any safer when shipped by rail, carted by truck, or pumped through a pipeline. This is a danger that will continue and grow unless we cut our dependence on fossil fuels. Governor Murphy has the executive power to stop any and all fossil fuel projects, yet has continued to allow NJ Transit, an agency controlled by his own administration, to propose a frack gas power plant right across the river from where we are now in Kearney. When he ran for office, Governor Murphy promised to prioritize our climate and environment. One of the first things he did when he took office was sign an executive order promising to protect environmental justice communities. Yet he has allowed NJ Transit to propose this power plant in one of the most overburdened areas in our state. His energy master plan called for 100% clean energy by 2050. But since taking office, his administration has redefined clean energy to include things like trash incinerators and burning natural gas while pumping the exhaust back into the ground using a process called carbon sequestration, a technology that doesn't even exist anywhere in the world on a commercial scale. And even if it did, it wouldn't stop the devastating impact to our climate or the communities living around the fracking site or along the pipeline or transportation route. There's currently at least 13 polluting and climate-destroying fossil fuel projects moving through the proposal or construction process in our state, and Governor Murphy has remained silent on almost all of them. We've learned that Governor Murphy isn't going to fulfill the promises he made when he took office unless we make him, and that's exactly what we're doing. Governor Murphy didn't just have an epiphany when he decided that the North Bergen power plant was a bad idea for New Jersey. He did so because many of you and your neighbors stood up and fought back. With 52 towns passing resolutions against the project, 5 state legislators opposing it, thousands of petitions signed, letters sent, and meetings spoken at, protests held at his public events across the state, and a 500-person student-led march, of course he had an epiphany. And this is exactly what we're going to do again. Thanks to the hard work of community leaders in Hoboken, our first resolution was passed against the power plant 2 weeks ago by Hoboken City Council. This is the first time in Hoboken history that the council has publicly opposed any fossil fuel infrastructure. Since then, 2 other towns, Ridgefield and Alpine, have also passed resolutions against this project, and more are coming. But we need you to keep speaking out and showing up. We need you at your town council meetings demanding your elected leaders stand up for the health of your communities in our state. We need you to keep talking to your friends and neighbors about the devastating impact that will be caused by continued fossil fuel use. One thing that you can do right now is send a message to your mayor and council right from your phone. You can text the word transit to the number 69866, and you'll get a link to send a quick message urging them to pass a resolution against this project. I can also put the link to this and our petition in the chat. And then we need you to join us at council meetings across North Jersey to urge them to stand up to Governor Murphy and protect our health, climate, and environment. His administration has worked hard to protect our health during this pandemic, and now we need to make and protect the health of all of our communities long term by stopping this project and all fossil fuel projects in New Jersey.
Thank you so much, Sam. I'm going to call on our next speaker, Demetria Marshall.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. Hi, good evening. My name is Demetria Marshall. I'm a rising senior at Seton Hall University, and I'm a lifelong resident of Bergen County. I've always been proud to be a Jersey girl. Being raised here, my childhood memories are just filled with so many moments, being in parks, being in nature, picnics and playgrounds. All of these are unforgettable moments spent outside in fresh air. But unfortunately, as of late, I have lost my pride in my state, as I know that in the wake of a global climate crisis, there are still fracked gas power plants being proposed in our areas. And I still live within like 1.5 miles from a CSX line, which is an actual oil train blast zone. When I am up at night studying late for a final, I can hear fossil fuels being transported in my own backyard. And knowing of the tragedy that took place in Lac-Mégantic years ago today, I can't help but wonder, honestly, could my family, neighbors, and friends be next? And instead of investing in a redundant fossil fuel project, our governor and our state, we should be conserving our resources in order to switch towards 100% renewable energy. And there are numerous apartment developments being built in our areas where they're already densely populated. There are more families coming here, investing their lives, their children's lives here in our state, which is wonderful. but we deserve protection from a preventable tragedy. So I push forward in hopes that our state can evolve to be greener and wiser with the obstacles that we place in the way of the livelihood of our own residents. And after all, myself and everyone on this call, we must continue to fight like we live here.
Okay, I'm gonna hop in here, and I apologize if this is out of order, but we do have a few elected officials with us here, at least one of whom has to drop shortly. So I want to invite them to say a few words about their concerns and opposition to this New Jersey Transit Power Plant proposal. And so we're very excited to have council members Denise Ridley, Mira Prince Ari, James Solomon, and Youssef Saleh on the Zoom meeting with us, all of whom are committed to join this fight with us. So thank you so much for joining, and can we start, Denise Ridley?
Good afternoon, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if you can see me or not. I'm in my office and I just got this new monitor. I just want to make sure you can hear me.
We can see you and hear you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'll keep my statement very brief. I just want to say on behalf of the residents of Ward A here in Jersey City, we want to say thank you to the environmental advocates that have made us aware of this battle. Please know that as the councilwoman of the Greenville section of Jersey City, I have fought beside my residents for other environmental concerns. One of those concerns led the New Jersey Attorney General to take legal action against a company polluting air quality in our city. I do not claim to be the most informed on environmental concerns, nor is it a concern that comes up in my office every day. It may seem odd to say that at this rally, but I say that in an effort to encourage you to keep spreading information on pressing environmental issues. The work you are doing is not in vain, and you are capturing the attention of those who would otherwise not know this was happening. So please keep up the great work, and thank you all for all that you do, and you have our support.
Thank you, Councilmember Ridley. And next, can we have Councilmember Prince Ari?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for putting this together and for bringing people to, rally, even though it's virtually, for this very, very important cause. Some of you I've known for a very long time, and we've worked together on other environmental issues over the years, and here we are doing it again. I think that it's interesting that in this time when they're finally getting ready to hopefully pass Bill 232, that we're even having a conversation about fossil fuels being, brought through our area. This has come up again when we have the Spectra fight. It is coming up again now. Everything that we know about this kind of transporting these kind of fuels tells us that it's not healthy for our communities, and that it is time now to really take that next step and look at, what it means to live in a world with clean, renewable energy. The technology is there, the infrastructure is getting put in place, and it also means new and possibly better jobs for so many of our residents. So not only is it their quality of health, it's their economic quality of health, it's their mental and physical quality of health. And I think that these are all really important things to keep at the forefront of our minds as we're continuing on this fight. So thank you again to the organizers. Please keep up this very important work. Know that we are here working with you on these very important issues, and we look forward to continuing the fight.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Prince Ari. And next, I'd like to introduce Councilmember Youssef Saleh. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Youssef.
It's Youssef Saleh, like Frito-Lay. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. And for those that don't know who I am, I'm Councilman Youssef Saleh for Ward D Heights. It's an honor and pleasure to be able to speak in front of you all. And I was born and raised in the Heights, and I'm here to say that we need to make sure that we put the green energy back in the Garden State. And I stand with you and stand in solidarity with you in opposition to the fracking gas-powered power plant right here in our backyard. And I want you to know that climate change, and you already know this, that climate change and environmental justice is the greatest issue that we face. And, you know, we are on borrowed time, and we don't need another power plant in our yard that's spewing out all these emissions in, you know, these areas where there's lots of minorities, and it's just wrong. We have the technology and they can do it. They have the ability to make a clean powered plant. So why not? And they just got $1 billion from the federal government. This is NJ Transit. Governor Murphy just received it. So we should be using that funding towards making sure this is a clean energy plant. Put his money where his mouth is, you know, and let us start this green revolution here in the Garden State. And the time for change was certainly, it was yesterday, but the time for action is today. And that is why it heartens me so much to see all you people on this call. And you have the city council behind you. And I hope that we are the next in line to pass a similar resolution on the Jersey City Council.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Saleh. And last but not least, we have Councilmember James Solomon here with us.
Hi everyone, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Like my colleagues, Councilwoman from Wards A and B, and then Councilman from the Heights, you know, I stand with you in support of preventing, so in opposition to the NJ Transit Power Plant. And I did some thinking and research on the topic, and you know, for me, the thing that just stuck with me is that I think that the crisis of climate change, you know, means that we have to take action commensurate to the problem. And so we can't take small steps that might seem like they are a bridge for the next couple of years, or that might have made sense in an analysis 5 or 10 years ago. And you know, I live in a ward, or I live in a ward and represent a ward that is mostly in a floodplain, and that as we see the projections of climate change get worse and worse, the entire, you know, vitality, whatever word you want to use, of my ward is threatened. And so adding another new construction fossil fuel plant, I just think is the wrong approach, and isn't the way we need to be thinking about this challenge. So I will, with my colleagues, you know, support the resolution before the City Council, and we'll do our best to you know, really ensure that New Jersey City moves towards aggressive action to address climate change through entirely clean energy sources.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Solomon. And I was actually remiss. We have another elected official. How could I forget State Senator Loretta Weinberg, who has been such an outspoken leader on these issues of public health, keeping fossil fuels out of New Jersey, these unneeded pipelines and power plants, and the fight against this New Jersey Transit. So we're really excited to have her Chief of Staff, Shane Mitchell, here with us to say a few words on behalf of the Senator.
Yep. Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Yeah, it certainly has been a very busy time. Think about all the things that have been going on with Liberty State Park, oil trains, slides. Yeah, Senator, sorry she couldn't be here today, but I do have a statement from her. I'm gonna read. Here goes. On the anniversary of the Lac-Mégantic derailment and crude oil explosion, I am heartened by the progress we've made to protect our air, our water, our ecological heritage, whether it's pipelines, North Bergen Power Plant, or now NJ Transit fracked gas power plant. New Jersey residents have made their voices heard, gotten results. It is true now, as it was the last time, there is no need to build any new fossil fuel infrastructure in New Jersey. Lac-Mégantic might seem like an extreme example, but it is an apt metaphor for the destruction we could expect from a new gas power plant. A new gas plant would choke our air and damage the Meadowlands, and only delay us in our progress towards a zero carbon future. I'm with you all in the fight against this power plant, And I can only hope that our unity, once again, be our victory. So Senator Weinberg's with you guys. And thanks for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Shane, and thanks to the senator. Please extend our thanks. And yeah, with that, I'm going to pass it back to Paula to introduce our next speaker. Paula, are you still here? I wonder if
Paula, you should be
I wonder
able to
if Paula's-
unmute. Can you be sure to unmute? It looks like you're unmuted now. Are you there, Paula?
Well, in the interest of time, I think Paula may have lost audio. Paula, you may want to try unmuting from your phone device as well. But I do know we have a few other speakers remaining, and I can introduce the next one up. Ace from the Hudson County Sierra Club, and a local resident of the neighborhood here in Jersey City, is with us, and his group is one of the leading groups in the fight. So Ace, thanks for joining us, and yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I'll try to be brief. I also want to say thanks very much to our council members, in particular Councilman Saleh. Great to see you joining us. You're our councilman here in the Heights. Thank you. It means a lot. This is very personal for us here. I'm in the western slope of the Heights, and I look out my window. I do see those trains go by at the bottom of the hill, and you can't help but think, if that thing goes, we're all going with it. It's also very interesting. We learned at the last city hall that we had, it was striking the number of power plants that almost form a wall just to the west of Jersey City. If you're moving down from Bergenfield, the huge PSENG, rather in Ridgefield, the huge PSENG plant there, South Kearney, Bayonne, moving down to Linden, Sayreville, Newark, and all these plants. It's almost like whichever way the wind blows, it's all going to come for Hudson County. It seems almost like they planned it. That whichever way the wind blows, we're going to be poisoned here. On these hot summer days when the demand is high, we know it because we smell it. The Covanta generating plant in the S6, what used to be the S6 incinerator, they're burning garbage. If it smells like, Jesus, somebody burning garbage around here, it's because, yeah, they're burning garbage around here, and we smell that thing, especially when they're running at full steam like they do on these hot days. It's a trash fire, and we live with a trash fire in our backyards 365 days a year. So this is personal for us in Hudson County. And it's really great to see the council people step up here. We need to oppose this new plant. It's unnecessary, it's unwanted, and it's certainly not something we need here in Hudson County. That's it.
Thanks so much, Ace. And our next speaker is one of the many sort of inspiring young people who I'm personally inspired by, who's really sort of taken on a tremendous amount of leadership in this fight. He lives right here in Jersey City, goes to the Hudson School, and right from the beginning when he came to the informational meeting at the Hoboken Public Library, I knew he was going to be quite a force. And so really excited to have Logan Miller here and say a few words about the work that he's doing and why it's such an important moment.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Matt, and hi everyone. Thank you all so much for coming. So I'm a 15-year-old high school student, and like Matt said, I'm a Jersey City resident. I've lived here my whole life. and I'm the co-leader of the Hudson Schools Environmental Club and a passionate environmental activist. I'm here to talk about more local politics in New Jersey, as well as politics in relation to climate change as a whole. If I were told that I'm going to die from something other than old age, I would guess that it would be from government inaction, whether from climate change, a mass shooting, or trains full of oil which pass by me a couple blocks from my house every single day, or a number of other issues. I think that that's what would happen. My life expectancy is already lower than my parents, and climate change will only exacerbate that. I don't want to die in a tragedy like Lac-Mégantic. But we all know, I think everyone here knows what the problems are, and we need to keep shouting them because it's pretty clear that our government has a hearing problem. But I want to talk about how we can get what we want, because it's going to take more than sound bites. The biggest thing I want to recommend is voting for and supporting candidates. We have, in New Jersey, we have our primaries coming up tomorrow, and we are going to get to decide what voting Republican or what voting Democrat really means. So I want to quickly run down every congressional candidate supporting the Green New Deal. In New Jersey's 2nd District, Will Cunningham. In New Jersey's 4th District, Christine Conforti. In New Jersey's 5th District, Artie Krybik. In New Jersey's 6th District, Amani Al-Khattabeh or Russ Kirchione. In New Jersey's 8th District, which is where we were originally going to have our rally, it's where I live. I'm really proud to say that we have a wonderful progressive candidate, Hector Oseguera. In New Jersey's 9th District, I'm happy to say that every single Democrat running is a supporter of the Green New Deal. In New Jersey's 10th District, John Flora, and in New Jersey's 12th District, Bonnie Watson-Coleman, who is an incumbent who actually is a co-sponsor of the Green New Deal. I think I just wanted to say that because, first of all, to show how much support there is for it, that there are so many people fighting for it, and also because I want you to vote for them and donate to them. And it's a little late now, but volunteer for them in the future. And vote for freeholder candidates as well who are fighting against the power plant, like Ron Bautista and Eliana Little, who I believe is on the call today. And this goes for Canada as well. Well, I can't say I know much about Canadian politics. This is how democracy works. Be active locally. If you can go to a rally like this, you can speak at your local city council meeting. Hoboken passed a resolution unanimously against the power plant, and Jersey City hopefully will be doing the same at their next city council meeting. And if you want to get a similar resolution passed where you are, please get in touch, and also please speak at Jersey City's council meeting on July 15th. You have a voice. I've been learning that lately from working on a congressional campaign and from working against this power plant, especially if you are young, and I know that there are some fairly young people on this call. We have the power to make people uncomfortable. Nobody looks good when a 15-year-old, or anyone really, comes after them. And that's why I want to ask the Hoboken City Council why, after they unanimously voted for the resolution against the power plant, they then endorsed Representative Sires, who doesn't support the Green New Deal and hasn't said a word about the power plant. Do your research and figure out which politicians are really on your side. Finally, I said this at the Hoboken City Council meeting, but I want to say it again because I don't think I can say it enough. At the end of the day, we need to start taking drastic action. While of course there are more immediate issues right now when it comes to COVID-19 and in the US at least police brutality and racial justice, there will always be more immediate issues until one day climate change is going to be the most immediate issue. But if we don't take action before then, it will be too late. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Logan. Next up, we have someone who's no stranger to fighting for environmental justice, Kim Gaddy from Clean Water Action.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. And great job, Logan. I'm glad to see that we have youth stepping up to the plate, not waiting for people to pass the baton, grab it, run with it, and be the change that we need. So I thank you and all the other young folks who are in this fight. As was stated, my name is Kim Gaddy. I am a lifelong Newark resident. Matter of fact, I'm a fourth generation Norker, and I live in a community where it's very difficult to breathe on a daily basis because of environmental racism. I live next to the third largest port in the nation. We have 20,000 trucks that come in and out that port each and every day. 4,500 stay on our local roads. We have the East of the Beast, that's the Covanta that Case and so many other folks talked about, being able to smell the pollution. I mean, imagine the residents who live in Newark, who we can't escape from it. We have hundreds and hundreds of other polluting facilities, and the cumulative impacts of all of this pollution sources is actually killing us in our city and most frontline communities like Jersey City, like Elizabeth. You can just go right down the quarter of the New Jersey Turnpike. You can follow any rail, and though most of those communities are disproportionately polluted upon. And so I thank you all for the work that you do. You know, it was brought up as 232 as the cumulative impacts bill, thanks to Senator Singleton on the Senate side for supporting this. Also want to thank Senator Weinberg. She started us with this fight well over 10 years ago. It's finally coming into fruition. And if we would have had this kind of bill years ago, it could have prevented the HES plant that we see in our city. It could prevent and right now stop what we're fighting for today. But unfortunately, we had individuals who was elected to serve us, and they didn't have the political will to do what was right by the people. And so in this day and age, when you began to see COVID-19 and the pandemic that we are faced with on a daily basis, all of us in the communities that are polluted upon are now also, our lives is in jeopardy because of the pollution sources that's connected to COVID. I'm a mother of 3 children. All 3 of my children are asthmatic. And it's because of the zip code I chose to live in. I could have moved out, but I didn't. I stayed here with my family. And because of that, my children's lives shouldn't be in jeopardy, right? So it is, this cumulative impacts bill is very, very important. It's going to be the strongest in the nation so far. Because it simply gives DEP the authority to deny permits. And that's what they had, that power really all the time. They just chose, again, under the Christie administration, the political will, they didn't do what was right by the people in the state of New Jersey. And so now they have the right to deny these permits. And so it will help the future generations, Logan, and the young folks who are now in this fight for justice. It can help those establishments that are currently here now, but it will help in the future. It also begins to address overburdened communities. When you think about Linden, New Jersey, that's another community that is overburdened. And it's overburdened, and it has individuals who live in that community that are below the poverty line. And so they need as much help as possible as well. So this can begin to level the playing field. It's a game changer. We need it. But when you think about what is happening nationally, Cory Booker has a EJ bill that we're trying to get passed nationally. The city of Newark passed the cumulative impacts ordinance several years ago. And so now if we get the state on board, we could begin to address these issues that has been impacting our lives for years. And, you know, I must say that because Newark and so many EJ communities have been under assault for many years with environmental racism, I would be remiss if I did not add our current situation. And although our communities, we have been fighting to breathe clean air forever. And a lot of people have lost their lives that you will never see. And so now in this day and age where you see all the marches and rallies where folks are fighting against police brutality, this is the most crucial time that we can connect all of our movements together to begin to change the wrongs that have been done in our community. So collectively, we can change and begin to stop the oppression that is happening across the country. And so from an environmental justice point of view and perspective. I thank you all for allowing us to lift the voices up of so many people in our communities. I thank you for the time and effort that you have put in fighting and connecting these communities, because none of us can escape from the pollution. There's no barriers in the sky. So, and none of us go outside and breathe in one pollutant at a time. We breathe in all the pollutants that is present. And so I thank you all for the hard work that you're doing. Continue to fight, and let's change what is happening, because we cannot continue to lose lives in this state of New Jersey because of the lack of individuals, political will, and the lack of respect for our life. So thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you very, very much. I'd like to call next on Samantha Chrysler from Hackensack Riverkeeper.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi. Unfortunately, Captain Bill could not be here today, but he sends his regards to everybody. So I'm Samantha. I work for Hackensack Riverkeeper, and I'm the outreach coordinator. As many of my colleagues here today have stated, today is the 7th anniversary of Lac-Mégantic oil train disaster, which killed 47 people and spilled an unprecedented 6 million liters of explosive crude oil and incinerated the center of that entire Quebec town. As we stand together, some in cars, some in person, some virtually, we remember that tragic day, but I can't help but wonder, what exactly have we learned? CBC Canada reports that since the Lac-Mégantic tragedy, there have been 7 major derailments of trains carrying dangerous goods, most recently near Guernsey and Saskatchewan, December 2019 and February 2020, which together spilled 3.1 million liters of diluted bitumen, a solid petroleum asphalt. And we can say, oh, well, that's Canada. Well, things like that can and will happen here too if we do not stop fossil fuel centered developments like the transit grid proposal. And let me tell you, this is not just an environmental issue. We cannot allow fossil fuel pollution to put our communities at risk. Many of the surrounding communities in the Great Meadowlands region, Kearney, Harrison, Newark, Secaucus, and Jersey City, are predominantly low-income communities of color that already suffer rates of cancer and asthma far above those for other New Jersey residents. We are at a crossroads here in Jersey. And in America, we must take the path that respects our land and our people. Together, we will continue to stand up and fight for environmental justice and a future marked by not more pollution, but by clean water, clean air, and clean energy. Thanks everyone for being here. We look forward to defeating this project together.
Thank you very, very much, Sam. Thank you. I'm going to call on Fritz Elder, who's calling in from Washington, D.C. He's a special representative of the Rail Workers Union, Workers United, and he has worked very long and hard with the people of Lac-Mégantic and with people all over the United States who are working on these same issues. Thank you, Fritz.
I hope you can hear me. My name is Fritz Edler. I'm a 40-year veteran of the U.S. rail industry and stopped actively running trains a few years ago to focus on the defense and advocacy of railroad workers in the nearby communities as a special representative for Railroad Workers United. I also headed up the international effort in defense of the railroad workers who were scapegoated for the Lac-Mégantic wreck. That was Tom Harding and Richard Labrie. And I'm proud to be speaking to you all today with my friend Gilbert Carré from the Citizens Coalition for Rail Safety. That they've worked so hard for so long, seemingly alone a lot of the time, to make sure that the story of what happened there doesn't fade from our memory. And your group has done a lot to make sure that that memory has been maintained. The rail industry and the government wanted the responsibility to be on the railroad workers, Tom Harding and Richard LeBrie. Everyone had seen their picture with the handcuffs and heard the statements by the U.S.-based CEO of the rail operation there, Ed Burkhart, holding them responsible. And if they'd been successful in what they attempted to do, they would have gone full steam ahead with all the policies and practices that got exposed in the course of the criminal trial. It was thanks to the people of Lac-Mégantic, people in Quebec, and thousands of people across North America who supported that effort to drop the scapegoating and to make sure that the focus and the highlight was on the real corporate and regulator culprits. We still to this day have not had a full public inquiry around that wreck. But at least we were able to prevent a great miscarriage of justice by shifting the blame onto the workers who never get a chance to question the risky policies and practices. Today we're in the midst of a global pandemic, and the rail corporations are using the financial crisis that comes out of that to accelerate the efforts that they'd already taken to cut staff and infrastructure, increase fatigue, speed up efforts towards running single-person trains, and even trains run by remote control. One of the first things that happened after the COVID-19 crisis began was a broad suspension of federal safety oversight and regulatory compliance requirements by the FRA. Another increase in danger occurred when hundreds of railroad workers, and in particular in New Jersey and down in my part of the world, were on, especially on the operating side of passenger and commuter rails, were forced to be on call in situations where they had previously had fixed schedules that would have allowed them to plan their rest. The industry has also taken a green light to more deeply implement precision scheduled railroading, which is a misnomer for wild cuts and sell-offs of railroad infrastructure and furloughing of employees. All of this making the rails less safe for all of us, even without the question of the volatile crude shipments, which are controlled mostly by fluctuations in the marketplace, but we will certainly see a pickup in that traffic in the future. It'll be less safe than it was before the pandemic. Under the normal conditions that existed last year, at least 23 railroaders in North America lost their lives on the job, and it's an unacceptable situation where we knew how to do those jobs safely, and they just wouldn't allow it to be done. Railroad workers can be an important ally in the movement to replace fossil fuels, but that alliance also requires our allies to ensure that the process does not specifically require railroad workers to shoulder the burdens themselves exclusively when it's the burden and cost of something that we've decided as a society we want to do. So other people have talked about just transition. Just transition is key for our success, and if we want to do that, and we can make railroads the safe and green transportation of the future. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with you on this commemoration of the Lac-Mégantic tragedy today. I salute the good and consistent work that you do. I hope that we can meet again in the future and that we can do so outside of the sad context of a memorial, but rather to celebrate things that will make more memorials unnecessary. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Fritz. Thank you so, so much. I'd like to call on, we just have a couple more speakers. I'd like to call on a very active member of the coalition, Don't Gas the Meadowlands Coalition, Liz Ndoya from Hoboken.
Hi, everybody. It's an honor to be here today. I'm in really august company, and my heart and mind go out to the people of Lac-Mégantic. What a horrendous tragedy that you're still coping with 7 years later. But today I'm here as a representative for MoveOn.org in Hoboken to talk out against the New Jersey Transit power plant. While I think it's an exemplary goal of New Jersey Transit to want to construct a plant in order to keep trains running during catastrophes like Superstorm Sandy. I object to their need to create yet another fossil fuel plant in Hudson County. I ask, must New Jersey Transit fuel this plant with natural frack gas? Must they create a power facility that will emit up to 548,000 cubic tons of CO2 into our air? A plant that will allow methane, the most lethal fossil fuel gas, to leak into our environment. A plant that will disrupt the fragile ecology of our wetlands and the Hackensack River. A plant that will be built on a toxic waste site in a flood zone. Hoboken, Kearny, East Newark, and Jersey City Heights are only a few miles from this plant. And in fact, Hoboken and Jersey City Heights are northwest windward of this power plant and will be affected directly by its toxins. We are communities already stressed by high amounts of toxins in our air. We have not earned the unfortunate nickname Cancer Corridor for no reason. Our citizens are already at high risk for cancer, asthma, and other respiratory disease. The American Lung Association has given Hudson County an F for air quality and quality of life. We have countless numbers of seniors and children who, if exposed to more pollution, will have adversely affected lives. And COVID-19 just adds another layer to our problems. We're also communities where environmental justice has been repeatedly denied. Members of our community who may be working poor or persons of color would once again be deliberately exposed to chemical poisoning without any recourse. This is downright wrong and completely unethical. So I call upon our governor and the board of New Jersey Transit to build a plant, but make it alternative energy. We do not need another fossil fueled power plant in our backyard. And I too, along with Logan Miller, say vote. Tomorrow is our voting day. We need to make our voices heard and we need to collaborate. Thank you so much. And I'm so proud of Hoboken. Our city council not only passed a resolution against this plant, we passed it unanimously.
That's so great. Great, Liz, that's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're going to hear from Sam Pessin from the Coalition to Save Liberty State Park, and you've probably read about this in the news lately, and it's not good news, so we're going to have to work hard to join that fight again. Sam?
Oh, here we go. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The Friends of Liberty State Park, thank you all for fighting for public policy of stopping oil trains and gathering on this anniversary, this tragic anniversary. And we also strongly oppose the New Jersey Transit fracking gas plant in the Meadowlands. We urge Governor Murphy to say no to the Meadowlands power plant, and we urge all governors in our nation to ban these dangerous oil trains with millions of gallons of highly volatile crude oil going through American towns. With the insane boom in fracking and expansion of oil refining, tanker trains carrying flammable and explosive cargo are increasingly crisscrossing the country. When we take action for our public health and public safety, for the public good and for social justice and environmental justice causes, we make a crucial difference in carrying out the highest of human values. People of all ages must be involved. We must live with moral courage. We must raise our voices for common sense government, which is not beholden to the oil and gas industry. As President Obama recently stated, we must do the work as we are and live with hope. Activism is also at the heart of Liberty Park's past, present, and future. Liberty State Park is priceless and sacred public land, a local, state, and national treasure, scarce urban open space behind Lady Liberty, and a mental, emotional, and physical public health resource in this densely populated area. The essence of Liberty Park history is that for over 4 decades, people have put democracy into action and fought many grassroots battles against privatization and for a free people's park. I ask for your support for the Liberty State Park Protection Act to once and for all end privatization threats. The Protection Act was stopped in the last legislative session by Liberty National Golf Course's multi-billionaire owner, Paul Fireman's political contributions and his disinformation campaign, but the act has been reintroduced. Fireman wants to privatize and destroy Liberty Park's Caven Point natural area habitat to relocate eye candy golf holes for millionaires. A week ago, a couple of top legislators acting on behalf of the billionaire tried a Liberty Park land grab and snuck language into a budget bill to require proposals to privatize state parks. We thank Sierra Club's Jeff Tittle for discovering this hidden language. And after the great Senator Loretta Weinberg's and the champion of Liberty Park, Assemblyman Raj Mukherjee's powerful and outraged press releases, and Jersey City Mayor Steve Phillips' communication and immediate news stories, thank God for the media, the governor, who had quickly signed the bill, backed away from the attack on Liberty Park and said the park won't be targeted. So I urge you all to please press Governor Murphy to publicly support the Liberty Park Protection Act, to join our coalition, which has 85 groups so far, and to please sign and share the Protection Act petition, which is on the Friends of Liberty Park website. Thank you all. Thank you, fighters. It's an honor to be among you all.
Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you. And keep sending us information and we'll get it out to hundreds of people so that we can all join that struggle. We have to win that. We're going to wrap up in a moment. I just want to remind people of some of the things that Sam DeFalco suggested that we do to get involved in this struggle, because we know it's going to be a tough struggle and we must win it. We must win it. So you can get out your phone and text 69866. You can go to the New Jersey No Meadowlands Power Plant.com website, and there you can sign the petition calling on Governor Murphy to reject the New Jersey Transit Power Plant and to support our proposal for renewable energy rail. We know that's possible. It's been done in other countries. So please sign the petition to Governor Murphy. There's also a municipal resolution, and Liz mentioned that Hoboken passed the resolution, Alpine passed it, and we're working, Richfield in Bergen County passed it, and we'd like you to go to different towns in this region and ask their environmental commission and then their town council to pass the resolution opposing the power plant. And on June 15th, the New Jersey Transit Board of Commissioners will be meeting at 6 p.m. And we've been calling in on their virtual meetings, sometimes up to 70 people calling in. We've had over 30 speakers, and we've been battling with them trying to force them to make public participation reasonable and not make us wait forever to speak. So we're going to end now with Matt Smith in just a moment. I really want to thank everybody for being patient with us transferring everything to Zoom, to those people who are here. And I see there is a little crowd of people, mostly in cars here in Jersey City. But thank you for coming out. We're sorry about that we had to switch everything to Zoom because of the lightning and thunder, but we needed to be safe. So, and a special thanks to the two people sitting in the car with me, Chris and Johan, who helped me with the technology, and here we are. So Matt Smith is going to lead us out of the meeting. Matt.
Thanks so much, Paula. Paula, it is always such a pleasure working together with you and all of our people. I think one of the things I miss most, since the start of the pandemic is the ability to gather together in person, where we always incorporate music and art and culture. And sometimes there's just some good old fashioned screaming together as a healthy catharsis as we move together towards the future that we so urgently need. So I am gonna try to do my best to replicate a quick chant to lead us out. But just want to again thank all of the residents, activists, organizations who co-sponsored today's rally. I also want to thank specifically council members Denise Ridley and Marie Prince Ari, who were texting me during the meeting that they forgot to mention that they will be introducing the resolution to oppose the New Jersey Transit Power Plant at Jersey City Council's July 15th meeting. And so residents are encouraged to join into that meeting and show support for that resolution. That's the other thing we need to do. We need every single one of our towns and cities to pass this resolution calling on the governor to stop this project. So wherever you live in New Jersey, you can go to nomeadowlandspowerplant.com, download a copy of the resolution, and bring it to your mayor and council and urge them to stand with the growing number of towns who are opposing this really awful, climate destroying, health destroying project. I think that is everything. I don't know if there's any last housekeeping items to mention. It was incredible just to see how many people joined us virtually today. And I do believe that we are going to stop this project, win the renewable rail alternative we urgently need, and continue building the political power to stop the fossil fuel industry for good. And transition rapidly and fairly to a renewable future. I think if everyone's on mute, you're probably just going to hear me. We've tried the scenario where we chant and everyone comes off mute. It's a little chaotic, but maybe we can try it again. So I'm going to do one round of the chants, and then I'm going to ask Jocelyn to take us off mute. Take everyone off mute so we can try it. So the chant is...
everyone will actually be able to unmute yourselves. So when Matt gives the cue, you should all unmute yourselves to join in.
Great. So after the first round of the chant, everyone unmute yourself and join in for a second round, and we'll close it out that way. New Jersey Transit Power Plant, we say no. Renewable rail is the way to go. New Jersey Transit Power Plant, we say no. Renewable rail is the way to go. NJ Power Plant, we say no. Renewable rail is the way to go.
NJ Power Plant, we say no.
No.
No. Renewable rail is the way to go. Thank you so much, everyone. Onward.
Right.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so
much.
for organizing.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks to the
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Good job, all.
Thank you.
See you out there.
Thank you.